Yo, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this card dance transition effect in After Effects. So let's just hop right into this thing. If you want to save time while editing, please make sure to check out my website. They're extremely simple to use and there's tons of tutorials on how to use them, but enough yapping, let's just get right into this. Card dance has been around for a while. It's a pretty cool effect. There's lots of tutorials out there for how to do this, so definitely make sure to check those out as well, because I learned from watching a bunch of these tutorials. And this is just kind of my variation of how I would do it myself. So I'm transitioning from this clip into this clip of SGPUS. So basically, first step, I'm just going to drag this second clip over the first clip like this, and we're going to start off by fading it in with some opacity keyframes. Just to bring up the opacity, I tap M on my keyboard, and then right here I bring that to 100%, and you can ease that if you want with F9. So we've got something that looks like that, and then right here is where I want the effect to happen. So I'll go ahead and just pre-comp these. So I'll highlight the two and do Control-Shift-C and click that little circle right there and click OK. And then right here is where we're going to add the effect. So we'll add on an adjustment layer and add on the card dance effect, and then create a new camera and put it right above that. You don't have to mess with those settings. I'll just trim this off at the end like that, boom. And I'll just rename my pre-comp layer 1 like that. And then I will change the gradient layer to 1, the one I just named. And I'll go to Z position and change this to intensity 1. You could do this to really any one of these. It's just going off of the RGB basically, but intensity 1 is what I'd recommend. Then you will keyframe these two values right here, and you could also mess with the X, Y, Z rotation, scale. It's pretty cool. And yeah, so basically this is going to give you these squares right here, and when you increase these or decrease these, you're going to get those small little tiny particles in there. So I'd recommend going somewhere from like 400 to 600. So I'll be doing 500 in this case, but for now, for render speeds, we can just leave these at something like 50 or 20 or even like 10. And if you want to pull up your keyframes that you set, just select your layer and then tap E or U on there. I'll do U, and it'll just bring them up here. And then over here, I'm just going to set the multiplier down to 0 like that. And then here we can really play with this, increase this as much or as little as we want. It doesn't really matter, just whatever feels good to you. And then over here, bring it back down to 0. And then as well, we can mess with the offset just a little bit if you want to spread them out a bit more. And then, you know, make sure to bring this back down to 0 as well. And these don't have to be exactly where I'm placing them. Then now we can just highlight these, easy ease them with F9. And then if we pull up our graph editor, this is where the fun begins. What I'll do is just highlight this end right there, do a little bit of that, do a little bit of that, and I'll do a little bit of this. Click on this one, do a little bit of that, and then same over here, I'll do the same thing. And we got a graph that's looking like this. So as you see here, it's going to ease in really nice and smooth like that. And then you can drag these out if you want it to, you know, really ease in like smooth like that. And then you could bring this one closer in, and now this is where we can play with this. So I'm gonna bring this to like 500, something simple. And now this is where you start to see exactly how those particles start looking. And because we did that opacity keyframe thing with the two layers, they're now transitioning into each other very seamlessly. And so far we have something that looks like this right here. Pretty smooth as well. You know, feel free to keep playing with the graph editor. What I'm going to do now is add on the flicker effect, because I think this just adds a little bit to it. This is Sapphire Flicker. There are ways to do this without Sapphire plugins, but that's just what I use. And I'll set this to like 0.6 in the middle, and then bring it back down to 0 on either end, just like that. So you got some smooth flicker in there. And then as well, what we can do is add on a glow or HLS. In this example, I just added on color balance HLS, and then set hue at 0 on this end. And then right over here, I just had it go through 3 quick rotations like that. As well, you could add on effects like turbulent displace as well if you want some waves in the particles. If you want to save time while editing, please make sure to check out my website. Everything is drag and drop, and almost every single pack works in all editing softwares. They're extremely simple to use, and there's tons of tutorials on how to use them. That's going to do it for this one, guys. I appreciate y'all, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace out.